Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I just did a little grocery shopping today. Man, is this stuff going up. It is definitely the prices are going up, and I know I can't be the only one that noticed this. Well, this came out in USA Today, May 22nd, 2020. Cheap chicken beef came at a cost. How American meat plants bred coronavirus hotspots. And you know what? I can see how it is a hotspot. Remember, we know just from just the timeline of this whole thing, COVID-19 thrives in the cold. And remember, they got to keep this meat in cool temperatures in these meat packing plants. So, that being said, these folks have to work in a cooler temperature. COVID is always going to be in these meat packing plants, by the way. It's always going to be there. You know, I don't care how much they keep trying to sterilize the place and social distance these people, they're still getting it all over the country in these meat packing plants. You know, so it's easy for COVID to exist in the plant and it'd be damn near impossible for them to get rid of it. So they're talking about one of the workers, Maria, cut chicken thighs shoulder to shoulder with coworkers who coughed and ran fevers. The 33-year-old single mother from Mexico worked on a fast-paced line in one of America's most dangerous industries, meatpacking plants. Have long faced criticism for sacrificing worker safety in the name of efficiency and cheap meat. Injuries are common, severed fingers, chemical exposure, back sprains. But Maria, who asked to be identified only by her first name because of employment concerns, feared something worse while slicing a steady stream of carcasses in mid April. Yeah, I read how many of these workers are in fear of not only getting it, but taking it home to their families. All right, so this is a plant in Siler City, North Carolina. As the novel coronavirus invaded meatpacking plants across the nation, infecting dozens and then hundreds and then thousands of workers, Maria said she feared for her life. Every time a colleague coughed, she said she wondered if COVID-19 had found its way into the plant. She's worried about getting sick and dying and leaving her children without a mother. Maria said her plant supervisors won't talk about it. So she kept working. Late April, the company confirmed at least 11 employees had tested positive for the virus. One of them was a coworker, Maria said, who called her upset that she unwittingly passed the virus to her father and he died. Wow. The meatpacking industry has evolved into a marvel of modern efficiency and producing 105 billion pounds annually of poultry, pork, beef, and lamb, disdain for dinner tables across America and the world. That nearly doubled what it produced 3 decades ago. It's an evolution, came at a cost. The same features that allowed a steady churn of cheap meat also provided the perfect breeding ground for airborne diseases like coronavirus. A cramped workplace, a culture of underreporting illness, and rural, migrant, and undocumented workers who share transportation and close living quarters. This pandemic is preying on decades of the fundamental arrangement of how we produce our food. Meatpacking industry now faces perhaps its greatest test of worker safety as the novel coronavirus continues to sweep through its slaughterhouses and processing plants. As of May 20th, officials have publicly linked at least 15,300 COVID 19 infections to 192 U.S. meatpacking plants. According to tracking by the Midwest Center for Investigative Reporting, at least 63 workers have died. In April, USA Today found 1 in 3 of the nation's 405 largest meatpacking plants operated in a county with a high rate of COVID 19 infections. This week, the data shows the trend has expanded to more than half of those plants. Companies, including Tyson, Smithfield, and JBS, have implemented measures meant to reduce exposure, with many installing plastic sheets between workers on the line, providing masks and face shields to employees, and taking temperatures daily. Some have offered more generous sick leave. They've been impressed with how much we've done. Wow. It's probably safer in these plants than it is in communities, added Shane Miller, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Beef Enterprise for Tyson Fresh Meats, in an interview with the Statesman part of the USA Today network. Dozens of plants, including those owned by JBS and Tyson, have closed for days or weeks to slow or stop the spread of the virus. When federal guidelines for preventing the spread of coronavirus in meat and poultry plants came out in April, companies immediately worked those procedures, practices, and methods into their processes, said Sarah Little, a spokeswoman for the North American Meat Institute. And now we have the CDC, USDA, and OSHA, and the state and local officials working together to ensure that the facilities are doing everything possible to protect employees. But some say the measures are too little, too late in the industry where worker safety has always been at risk. Prompted by complaints from plant workers, county health inspectors toured the plant in late April and found employees standing shoulder to shoulder with no barriers or rushing in and out of break rooms. They're crowded in sinks, which often lacks in hot water. Many didn't wear masks and their mouth, over their mouth and noses. The plant, which at the time knew just one COVID 19 case among the employees, responded to the findings by hiring one person per shift to ensure workers properly wore masks. It also adjusted people on the line to social distance setup, break rooms outside, and staggered lunch and break times, according to an email. It was not enough. Since the inspection, at least 87 workers have tested positive for COVID 19. That's nearly a quarter of the cases in Champaign County, which had a total of 435 positive tests as of Wednesday, according to the state health department. With an outbreak in progress, the plant then reduced line speeds to half capacity, according to a company statement. Even those measures, it's impossible for workers to stay far enough apart. Julie Pride, Champaign County Health Administrator. She's increased her office efforts to respond. The health department retained all Spanish-speaking employees to track among heavily immigrant workforce, and it has hired translators for at least 5 languages. Carpooling workers and crowded living conditions factored into the virus spread, Pride said, but so did the company's labor practices. Without paid leave, workers who brought in little money continued showing up, she said. Someone brought it in, she said, with no infection control measures in place, it took off. Warning signs were there for decades. Worker advocacy groups and government watchdogs have long cited endemic problems in the workplace. Among them, workers are forced to slaughter and process animals at breakneck speeds. They get infrequent bathroom breaks. They crowd tight. They crowd in tight spaces. They are discouraged from taking sick time. They lack personal protective gear. Despite all the red flags, the industry has continued to operate with little safety oversight. Federal authorities say the Occupational Safety and Health Administration is in charge of monitoring worker and safety at meat packing plants, but the agency has so far had a limited role. Most OSHA inspections are complaint based, and government watchdogs have long noted a lack of injury and illness reporting among meat and poultry workers and their employers. They probably just don't want to report it. You know, I can see how a lot of people get injured in those kind of environments. But y'all, I mean, the virus is still running rampant. These people, they work in an environment that feels like a refrigerator. And we know COVID started during the late fall and winter months, and it was able to thrive even in Wuhan. And I still believe it's there. China is just doing what we see Florida and Georgia doing, trying to lie about the numbers. That's all China's doing. They know damn well they got it over there. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.